It's me. Welcome to the stream. We sure are just doing this. I guess it's a thing. It's something that I'm doing. I've been watching a lot of people play it. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I didn't really set up a huge amount of things for this, but I did pay for it twice, and I feel really stupid about paying for it twice. I really don't like getting games on multiple different platforms that are the same game, unless it's like an excessive remake. So, we're here doing that, and that's gonna be fun. It's card games. Also, I'm a model today because I felt like it, I guess. I don't know. I just felt like it. But, open it up here so you can actually see the, whatchamacallit, the game start up. Because that's neat. Here it comes. Oh. Okay, I thought it was gonna open up in full screen and I was gonna be upset. I didn't mean to make that expression, it just kinda happened. I apparently have expressions on right now. I don't know how that happened, how to change that. Hang on. No, that's shadows. How do I make myself turn? Is it shift? Is it alt? Nope, that's zooming in. There it is. So I'm not facing super far to the left when I look over at chat. Yeah, my face is just gonna do that today. I don't remember how to turn that off. So it's gonna be weird like that all today. So I apologize if you see some random expressions that I don't normally have. Also, let me know if the game is too loud, because I don't know that. Sort of going into this is... Well, actually right now it's a little bit quiet for me, so let me adjust settings for you and for me. I did change some settings before starting. 14's good. I think 14's good. Probably gonna be okay for today. And then that, which means change the filter to 6. And then, okay. I think that's probably good. Yeah, it keeps making those expressions. I don't know how to, let me just, it's gonna bother me if I keep having that happen. Give me 1 second. Expression settings. Enable tracking. That's not it. General settings, perhaps? Let me save this. Expression sensitivity. Turn that a little bit further down. Okay, I think that's probably good. Probably won't do random weird expressions now. Sensitivity's down a bit. Alright. There I am. Let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, this is the game in which you play cards. There is a tutorial and it will explain it further. But yeah, I think I have all my settings where I need them to be right now. If I need to change them, then I need to change them, but there's also credits here. Because there's no like actual credit sequence in the game. Publishing, it's a little hard to read, apologies. Actually, if I turn down one of the settings, it's probably easier to read. Turn off the CRT so you can see that a little bit better. The credits there. Soundtrack. The publishing company. Put that on screen for a little bit. production, localizations in various languages, porting to various platforms. I'm surprised that Switch is not on here. I'm pretty sure there's a Switch port, but I don't know why the credits for that aren't here. Various sounds. Tarot card sound, polychrome sound, tarot card sound, molt sound. Huh. I could find these online right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but I could. The font, the Joker Vagabond, was created by Lumpy Touch. Collaboration art for Slay Aspire and Lightning Isaac was made by someone named Nito. Every other thing regarding sprites, shaders, and visual assets were made by Local, Thunk, and Enzik for special thanks. So pretty much almost the entire game was made by this one guy, apart from a few different details such as the soundtrack and a couple of the cards. And like, nope, they're still doing that. Great. Okay. That's customized deck, excuse me. Video graphics, there we go, put the CRT on a little bit. We're gonna have fun with it today. In any case, I'm gonna do this, the command, so that is shown for everyone else, but pretty much gonna say it right out from the gate. Please no unsolicited advice. This is a very popular game. I'm sure I'm going to get new people here who are going to try to backseat me. Please don't do that. I hate that. If you do that, I might time you out. I'm serious about this. Please don't do that. And basically the rules of this sort of kind of challenge run is that, or runs, quote unquote, is that if a card is undiscovered, I should take it, even if it's to my detriment. And if the game gives me Wheel of Fortune, I have to take it, even to my detriment. And that's about it. Have fun and don't die. So I haven't played this on PC yet. I've only played it on my phone, but I've seen a lot of people play it, and I've seen various different playthroughs of it. So I think that's everything covered. You're like 10 minutes in already, and I've just been sitting here on the title screen. Sorry. Let's get into it, shall we? Alright. Hello there. My name is Jimbo. I'm here to help you learn how to play. Your goal is to earn chips to defeat the enemy blind. My mouse is on screen. I don't know if it should be. I'll take it off screen. We don't need it right now, I don't think. Capture cursor. There we go. This here is a small blind. You only need to score 300 chips to beat it. Select the small blind to start the round. You earn chips by playing poker hands. Each poker hand earns a base amount of chips multiplied by some mult. See your poker hands in the run info area, along with other stuff about your current run. So these are all the different types of poker hands. These are all pretty standard poker hands. I knew about poker hands because I played New Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo DS and played Luigi Poker sometimes. So that's my experience with poker for the most part. Let me adjust things. Okay. That's probably fine. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, they're pretty standard. High card. Played hand is not any of the above hands, only the highest ranked card scores. There's a pair, 2 cards of the same rank, which is, in this case, the example here, it's 2 9s, just like any card with the same. It works for like the kings, queens, jacks as well, and aces. Those also count. They can also be played with up to 3 other unscored cards. 2 pairs of cards with different ranks, and can be played with another card that is doesn't matter in the ranking. 3 of a kind, which is a pair, but yet another one, a third one. And they can be scored with up to 2 cards. You can play up to 5 cards at a time. That's pretty big in poker. The poker rules is that you can play up to 5 cards at a time. Straight is 5 cards in a row, consecutive ranks, and by that it means the rankings are Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So if you have 5 cards all in a row like that, like shown in the example here, Jack, 10, 9, 8, and 7, or if you have something like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that can work. The only caveat, I guess, is that the right word? The only, not glitch. The only point thing here is that aces count as both the end and the beginning of where cards rank. So it can count as a 1, and it can also count for higher than a king. So you can do ace, king, queen, jack, 10, or you can do 5, 4, 3, 2, ace for a straight. Flushes are all the cards that share a suit. All 4 suits are hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. Those ones I know, if only because of Homestuck, but also just because we have cards laying around the house and I played Solitaire as a kid, so. 3 of a kind is when you have, Full House. I read 3 of a kind in the description and got confused. Full House is when you have 3 of a kind and a pair, so 3 of the same card and then 2 of the same card as well. 4 of a kind is obviously 4 cards of the same rank. 4 jacks here in this case. They can also be played with 1 other unscored card. And then the straight flush, which is very hard to get in normal poker. You have 5 cards in a row of consecutive ranks, and they all share the same suit. And it's the highest scoring hand you can have, I guess. I'm assuming in poker as well. But yeah, you can look at that. You can also look at your blinds and your vouchers. We're currently on the small blind in the tutorial. And we don't have any vouchers yet because we have not seen those yet. Ah, dang it, my dad's asking me about what I want about from Domino's. Alright. You'll have to wait a bit for that. Cards also earn you some chips. Hover over to see. Hover over, my bad. So, from our hand here, we have the King of Spades, the Queen of Hearts, the Jack of Spades, the 9 of Hearts, the 9 of Clubs, the 7 of Diamonds, the 5 of Hearts, and the 2 of Diamonds. All of the number cards have chips give you chips corresponding to the number that they have. And all of the face cards all correspond to 10 chips each. The ace is the exception, with having 11 chips instead. Now select up to 5 cards to play and press play hand. So with what we currently have, we don't have much in terms of a hand, but we can do a pair of 9s, and we can select up to 5 cards, so we'll select these ones because they're not quite as good at scoring. So I'm doing this to get rid of the cards, and we play our hand. And it scores it right over here, which Jimbo will help explain. Oh, nope, he didn't explain yet. You can also discard up to 5 select cards and try to make even stronger hands. Try it! So we can discard cards as we see fit. We're just going to discard these 4 because I'm looking for faces right now. Careful, you only have a limited number of hands and discards per round. We have 4 of each. So be careful because once you're out of discards, you gotta start playing hands. And I lose discards very frequently. Earn 300 chips before you run out of hands to win this round. Good luck! So yeah, it's chips times a multiplier. The blue number is the chips. I'm doing this as you can see my cursor. I just literally turn my cursor off so you can't. And the red number on the right is for the multiplication aspect. That's what the X is for. The multiplier is higher depending on what sort of hand you have. In this case, like straight flush is 100, is the base score without even any of the cards themselves scoring is just 100 times 8, which is 800, compared to a high card or a pair, which is 5 times 1, which is 5, and 10 times 2, which is 20. So make sure you have good hands. in order to get through the blinds. And now we have ourselves a full house of kings and jacks. And that's gonna get us plenty of places. We're playing at 1 speed right now because I feel like this is a great way to show people how the game works without going too fast. I normally play it on 2 speed and not any higher because of any higher, and it gets really confusing for me and it's hard to tell what's happening with my cards. I would like to see what happens with them. Nicely done! Now that you're flush with cash, you can buy some new cards from the shop. So yeah, after every blind you win, you earn some cash depending on if you have some hands left, the blue number of hands there, or what blind it is, as well as potentially interest. I don't know how interest works. I still haven't figured that out yet. Try buying this handsome devil. Oh, Jimbo. You rascal, you. This is one of the 150 jokers you can add to your run. Every joker does something different. This one adds a +4 mult to every hand you play. So that adds 4 to any hand that you play whatsoever. It just adds a little bit extra to it. Oh, it's getting a little bit loud. I didn't even realize. Excuse me. Turn that down. Be picky! You can only carry 5 jokers cards at a time. The 1 out of 5 means that you only have 5 jokers that you can, have with you. Obviously. Now buy the other card from the shop. Not discovered. Enhances 2 select cards to mult cards. This tarot card, though it is pronounced tarot, I'm going to say tarot because that's how I pronounce it. This tarot card is a consumable. This one will enhance your playing cards. Hold on to it. You can carry up to 2 consumable cards. Consumable Clark Kents. You can carry up to 2 consumable cards with you at a time. If you save up enough, you can buy a voucher. Vouchers passively upgrade your run. This one lets you permanently gain 1 hand per round, which we should get, because as part of my little rules that I'm throwing out here, I need to get anything undiscovered, just to make it easier and faster. I can't tell you if I'm going to win a run with these rules that I've imposed upon myself, but we'll try our best. Vouchers are restocked after you defeat the boss blind. Making a move. And check out both of the booster packs in every shop. They're full of goodies. Choose up to 1 of 2 jokers, and choose 1 of up to 3 playing cards to add to your deck. Let's move on to the next round. Selecting the big blind will earn you some cash. Or choose to skip it to get a tag. Each tag has a unique effect. But keep an eye on the boss blind. It has an ability you'll need to plan around. The boss for this particular blind, boss blind, is the hook, which discards, I can't speak today, help me, discards 2 random cards played per hand. Sorry, 2 random cards per hand played. So any leftover cards that you have, if you happen to have, it'll just randomly discard 2 of them. So you have to keep that in mind for that one. If you beat it, then the ante goes up and all blinds become harder. Beat ante 8 to win. Now choose your path. So we have 8 antes, and we only have so many cards to get through. Now this is the garbage tag, which gives $1 per unused discard this run, and it will give me $2. But since that's not undiscovered, I don't think, unless it is, and I'm being stupid, we're going to select the big blind to play. Now I have to look at the Domino's pizza menu at some point. Okay. When you get more cards, remember you can rearrange them. Jokers trigger in order from left to right. And make sure that you use your consumables. Select the 2 cards in your hand and press the use on the tarot card to enhance them. So we do have this nice looking setup going on here that's not quite a straight. So we're going to use these on the 2 jacks. Apologies if I end up moving the cards like this. I play it on the phone, and that's how you do it. You move them around like that. And I don't know why that's the case and why they just can't have buttons on the phone, but you know, I guess because smaller screen. But then they have these buttons here. These buttons are still the same. I don't understand the game and how it works. Anywho, as it stands, we don't have a bright hand. We're gonna get rid of these 2, for sure. And we got ourselves a straight. Now, obviously, it would be better if I had a high straight, it's not a royal straight, a royal flush is what I'm thinking of. If I had a straight that went from ace, king, queen, jack, 10, excuse me. But I don't, so, and that's how it is. I really got really excited when he noticed me playing this game the other day. So now I have to deal with that, unfortunately. I do tend to discard kind of willy-nilly and with far less cards than I probably should be discarding, but, you know. Far fewer cards than I should be discarding, I mean. Yeah, that can work. We can deal with this. So all those multipliers added to the red number, which gave us a very high number. It's important that you keep, in the game, as you keep going, that you, multiply your, numbers by that you make sure that your red number continues to go up. That's, like, the most important part that you got going on for you here. Alright, we have a lot of undiscovered things. Now I'm going to go from, highest amount needed to lowest amount, so we're going to get this one first, the voucher. I keep feeling like I need to drag it. Help me. So that's the grabber redeemed. So now we have, in our vouchers, we now have the grabber. So we have 5 hands instead of 4. And since we are out of money, and if I sell this I won't be able to buy anything, we have to get on over to the next round. Domino's asking me for... I ate pizza for lunch though. God dang it, Dad. He knows I don't like... not deliver, carry out. They don't deliver to us. Hang on. Alright, here we go. Alright, randomly discards. We are 1 step away from a flush. If we sort by suit instead of rank, you can see that we have 4 hearts cards. So we're going to keep the jack here just because this is useful in general, in case. I want to keep that king there as well, just in case. We can get rid of the 9 and 4 though, probably. Okay, and now we have ourselves a flush. Which scores pretty high. I don't usually play with the soundtrack on because it's basically just one song but different remixes, so I don't really care for it. Oh, we're 1 step closer to another flush. Once again, not with our jack though. I'm going to get rid of this 7 because we could potentially use that queen. And I want to keep the 2s in case we want to do a 2, what you call it? Two pair. Oh, and we just got ourselves a full house. Lovely. And there goes our diamonds. Didn't see what we lost last time, so it doesn't really matter too much. And I mult there, 888. Call 888-8888. So yeah, you get 1 hand for each $1 for each hand remaining. Because we had 3 hands remaining, we get $3 more added to beating the actual boss, which gives you 5. The small blind gives you $3, the big blind gives you 4, and that one gives you, and the hands are the hands. So we don't have enough money to discover everything, unfortunately. We have enough to discover this Joker, though, which is that it gives +1 mult per consecutive hand played without scoring base card, which means that those jacks that we just gave the mult to are now officially useless. This is Ride the Bus. So we're gonna ride the bus for a little bit. What do we have? Orbital tag. Upgrades flush by 3 levels. That's pretty good. Or a free Mega Arcana pack, which gives you up to 2 of 5 tarot cards to be used immediately. Our diamonds are gonna get debuffed. Currently our hand is our deck is pretty evenly spread apart. There's no, you can add cards to it, you can take away cards from it. So we're just gonna lose all these diamonds here and that'll be fine. But I want to get that flush upgrade. Let's do that. While I don't get the $3 bonus, that's okay. We can survive. I am playing this thinking that I'm sort of kind of on a different stake, as it were. We're currently on, it doesn't say here, but we're currently on the white stake. Once you beat an actual run with in the white stake, you unlock the red stake, and then it's, I think it goes green, black, orange? I don't remember. I've currently only unlocked up to black stake. I only started playing this game this past week, so I haven't gotten super far. Whoa, okay. Oh. Do I want to go for the 4 of a kind? That, I'm not gonna get the 4 of a kind. And the full house is now less than the flush. As you can see here, the flush is now 80 times 10, which is the same as the straight flush, actually, which is 800 both. Whereas the full house is only 40 times 4, which is 164. 160, my apologies. 164 would be 41 times 4. I'm pretty good at math, so I tend to do that pretty frequently. So we're actually going to have to get rid of some of these cards. Yeah. No, even the 4 of a kind is not as good. That's 60 times 7, which is 420. Right? Yeah, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. Yep, 420. So getting the 4 of a kind actually isn't that beneficial to me. Let's get those hearts going then. Hey, an ace! That's nice, that's nice. That's real good. And this should win. Just like that. And the multipliers and stuff catching on fire means that you've gone above and beyond the what you need to score, which is incredibly helpful to note when you really need it. Ooh! Well, we're not doing straights. Oh, but we do need to get the permanently discard each round. Oh, but the bean! Oh, the bean! We could potentially see the bean again. We will not, however, see this again. Vouchers change each ante after each boss has been defeated. So I don't believe, if I remember correctly, we don't actually see it after the boss. It changes immediately afterwards, I want to say, but I could be incorrect about that fact. I feel like that's right. Yeah. So we won't see this one again. So let's gain a discard. Wasteful redeemed. Now we have 5 hands and 5 discards, so we have a lot of trial and error to figure out what we're doing. As it stands, we're really gunning ho on that flush, but all our diamonds are debuffed for this particular boss, called the window. To the window, to the wall. That's not, I'm trying to enter in my zip code for Domino's. Anywho, let's keep them by suit instead of ranked, just to make it easier. While we do have a lot of hearts, there are more heart face cards than there are club space cards. So we're going to get rid of those, because if I in fact play those, then I get off the bus. It stops for jacks, queens, and kings. Route 210 2A. Those are the bus stops. You cannot ride the bus afterwards. Give me a club. Thank you. And if I continue to, not play the face cards, the bus score will continue to get higher. So now it's at 2. It has +2 right now. This still does more than that, but it will get better as time goes on. I also have a habit of skipping a lot of blinds, and we just barely got through it with that first hand, so we're all good. We're all set. We have $9 to our name, and we have some packs. I still haven't opened any of these packs yet, but I probably should go for DNA. That's what this one is, by the way. If first hand of round has only one card, add a permanent copy to the deck and draw it to the hand. So basically you photocopy, if you play one card your first hand, you photocopy that, and it becomes a permanent addition to your deck. And that could be potentially helpful later on down the road. We can copy our aces and our 10s and our 9s. They don't have any enhancements to them right now, like the jacks here, but that can change with time. But we also have these packs here to go through, potentially, as well as the current voucher. Let's actually play this time around. Actually, let me see. This is a free spectral pack. Why do you do this to me? You know what? I might as well do it just to show that off as well. We're not getting a whole lot of money, so we're not unlocking a lot of things. But let's get this one, because DNA can be incredibly useful later on down the road when you have multiple copies of the same card. Then you can have play a lot of different hands. We can play a lot more 4 of a kinds if we get those, even if the 4 of the kinds aren't particularly useful right now. Let's open up that spectral pack. We choose one of these 2 spectral cards, which do some funky things. This one converts all cards in hand to a single random suit. And this one adds a purple seal to one selected card in your hand, which creates a tarot card when discarded. So if you have a seal on one of these cards, a very official looking seal, a purple one that is, then you can discard it and get a tarot card in your consumable area up in the top right. I'm sort of kind of gesturing over ride the bus so that you can see it's next to the ride the bus. We're gonna do this one because I think that'll be helpful in terms of having the flushes. I play a lot of flush rounds, unfortunately. Let's see what we get. Hearts. So we're gonna go consistently with hearts. Now we could get the standard tag as well and choose up to 2 of 5 playing cards to add to our deck. But I'm going to actually play again and get ourselves some money, because all our heart cards are going to be debuffed in this upcoming boss, which is unfortunate. Pick up. Alright, so can't lose Jack. Let's get rid of our base cards. That's important. Get rid of those suckers. And now we have an Ace of Hearts. We can play that. And that copies it, made another copy into our deck. It also scores a little, so it helps a little towards the overall score. Now let's get these bad boys out of here. to get some more hearts, baby! Oops, there we go. And that's how you play the game. Not quite enough. That's okay. There's still more cards in the back burner. Oh! This doesn't do this in the mobile. If you just hover over it, you can see how many you have left. We have 4 more diamonds and hearts than we do have clubs, so it's a little less likely for us to get clubs on our next draw, so let's discard these ones instead. While I don't like having the king there, it's a little bit okay, we have 2 kings. Oy, that kinda sucks. It's the same amount from each though. Come on, please. Oi, oi, oi. Pair won't give us much. Yeah, it won't. Oh, but I don't really have anything else I can do. Probably should have gotten rid of that queen instead. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh well. This might be it for us, folks. Oh. I can't play that though. I'm gonna lose the boss. I can play a 2-pair and then get rid of one of the queens. Get rid of this queen. We still have some diamonds left. Okay. For some reason my microphone is really picking up on my oh, we have exactly 3,000. Oh my god. What? For some reason it's picking up my of my laptop going on, which is unfortunate. I had pizza earlier today though. Yo! I can't buy that! Oh, I need to sell something. What can I sell? Okay. I could sell DNA. I want to keep the bus. The bus is really useful. I'm gonna sell DNA. Now, this is a negative card. Negative jokers, negative cards, negative jokers, will let you add a joker without actually taking away any of the slots that you have. That's why they're negative. They don't actually affect the amount that you have in your little area here. So this one gives you 2 chips for each remaining card in the deck. Now that corresponds to the deck down here, but the left number, not the right number. So even though you have 53 cards total in deck, what you have remaining after you've been drawing and discarding a bunch is what it adds. Not the total. But that's incredibly helpful. Now, if you can see underneath the joker there, it says 3 out of 6 instead of 3 out of 5. So we just added ourselves another slot. Unfortunately, we do have a bunch of hearts, and we're going to have to go through this one without using any of them. Which is really, really upsetting. Especially given how many of these are hearts. My straight won't be that good, though. I'm looking at the straight, but I don't have good straight stats. Yeah, it's a flush, but I don't know. Well, if we add these up together, 11 plus 20, 31, 37, and then that's, what is it? 37, then 40? So that, like, makes up for it. It's, like, more than double that. So it makes up for it not being able to actually play it by adding those chips there. So it still works. It's just not quite as good. Now we can't do that again, of course. We gotta go for the clubs. That's what we have more of. Oh yeah. Get rid of these. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. What does a full house get me right now? Not a whole lot. What does a 3 of a kind get me right now? Not a whole lot. Okay. Then we definitely gotta get rid of these ones. Give me a club. Thank you. There it is. Excuse me, my cursor's over there. Can't see things if I just put that cursor there. And there we go, it's that easy. And I've just unlocked the Joker and gotten to Ante 4. Ante up. Ante up. Alright, so we have a couple options here. So I think we're probably just going to get, well... That one does not come up a lot for me when I play. So while it is undiscovered, we haven't discovered this one yet either. So we're going to level up our straight, buy, and use. We have unlocked the blue deck. And let's get ourselves a new playing card. So pick 1 out of 3. And each of those planet cards that you just saw, the Saturn that we just used, they increase the level of your hands. And I wasn't explaining this before, but the level of your hands, the higher level they are, the more you will score with them. So since the reason I've been playing so many plushes is because I took that skip that made flesh increase by 3 levels. It's at level 4 right now. So, and right now, street is at level 2. It is as good as a 4 of a kind. So flushes and straights are kind of what we're working with here. Anywho, we don't have very good options out of here. We have a foil card, which gives you 50 chips, as well as, along with the chips that the card itself already gives you, so we'll get that one, specifically. And now we head into the next round, because, oh, I could sell that, but I like having it. I really should follow my own rules. I really should follow my own rules. Yeah, I'd have to sell all of these to get both of those. Yeah, it's 1 and 3 and yeah, maybe. I probably only have to sell blue Joker over here and ride the bus. Alright, let's do it. Let's follow my own rules. I put them in place. I should be following them. So this one is Dusk, which once again retriggers all played cards in final hand of round. And what that means is that the cards will play themselves again to score for only the final round. So let's open the other standard pack because we cannot get the brush. A Queen of Hearts, don't mind if I do. And this one rerolls the boss blind. That one's fine. We don't have a ton of clubs. We have some. We just got that blue, that 8 one. I called it blue because it's blue and it's an 8, and 8 in my mind is always associated with blue. But we can actually play the small blind this time around. We don't need to skip for now. What did we got here? Actually, the hearts are not very good right now, but we actually have to play some hands. Let's do this. Let's play a 2-pair, because we gotta play hands. We do no longer have to worry about ride the bus though, because I got rid of it. This will lead to our downfall though, for sure. Without Ride the Bus, we are scoring a little bit less, and without the Blue Joker, we most certainly are, in fact, scoring a lot less. Let's organize these by suit instead. Play these ones just to get the hand off. See if we can actually activate Dusk here. Or not. No, we can. We can activate Dusk. Just to see how it does. Just to show what it does up on stream. I keep putting my cursor there, and that does not help. And then we play these. And as you can see, ace, and then again, it plays the ace again, and it does that for each and every single card. So they score twice. And that can give you like a lot of extra chips. So we won, but just barely. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Oop. Now that is a good card. Now that is a good card. And much better than this. If I sell both of these... No, I won't have enough for both of them. God dang it. I just have enough for the hearts. Let's get this one. Now we have 7 going. Fortunately, we haven't discovered these packs yet, and we still haven't discovered this one, which increases your hand size. If you notice at the bottom, when I play cards, there is an 8 out of 8 on the bottom. That's how many cards you can have in your hand. This will increase your hand size so that you can have 9 cards in your hand. So that makes it easier for you to find what you need. Especially if you keep adding cards to your deck like I have been. What can we... This also rerolls the Boss Blind. I don't need to do that. Oh! We got our funny friend here. Let's get rid of these diamonds then. Just in case a club comes... Oh... I hate you. We have opportunities for that 8 later. Alright. Okay. So we have more spades. So let's get those out of there, see if we get another spade. And of course we don't. I keep trying to do that instead of just hovering over it, because I'm not used to that. Fine, you want me to get hearts? You can give me hearts, so what's your problem, my guy? 1 away from the straight flush. Ain't that always the case? Okay, my dad was, in fact, not trying to get me to eat Domino's tonight. It was just a, this is what's happening this week sort of endeavor. Oh, someone found me as trying to like all of my posts. That's so cool. Oh, they're trying to like my posts to get my attention. I'm not very huge on that. Apologies. I'm a big faking faker who lies all the time. Oh. We'll keep the song going until, if we can beat it, make it to round 8 with this. Got a lot of money out of that though, so that's nice. Oh! This Joker gains times 2.5 mults every time a playing card is added to your deck. And this one earns $2 per discard if no discards are used by the end of the round. I don't really use this one because I keep using my discards. My discards. So, you know, we can sell that, gain an extra $1 to get this. And we will hopefully eventually get more cards added to our deck to add on to that. So be it. So degrees. No clubs to be played. For me. God bless America. We got a 3 of a kind. It's not particularly useful. Not in this economy. Discard that. Get that out of here. We are 1 away from a straight flush again. What are we looking at? We have 110. So it's probably more likely that we probably won't get that one. So let's just do this instead. It'll be easier. Now this won't actually multiply anything right now because we haven't added another card since we bought it. So better to just keep playing as we're playing right now. Get these out of here. Keep the hearts in there in case we get some more hearts. Keep the hearts in there in case we get some more hearts. Yeah, it's less likely that we're gonna get diamonds. Great. Okay. Thank you kindly. However, we are out of discards now, so I have to just keep playing cards, which is going to be difficult. But we're getting close. The game is in fact giving me hearts though, so it clearly wants me to win. Oh. 9,000. We're so close. We're 1 away. Wow, that's bad. Wow, that's bad. What are we looking at? We're most likely not gonna get a flush. Okay, let's sort them by rank. Play this instead because it'll actually score. Okay. Oh, this might be where it ends. This is where it ends. And 1 away from us straight again. That's so cool. She says she wants to be in a movie. I can't be behind me, write it all down. And I don't want the responsibility of losing its importance. Do 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 do. Oh no, were you bluffing too? Well, anyways, we have unlocked a Joker. For reaching ante-level 4, we have gotten this one, which is Jokers, Turrets, Planets, and Spectral cards may appear multiple times. This means that you can have multiple of each card. Usually, you cannot have multiple of Jokers or Jokers going on up on the top. But you can get 2 of the same kind of Joker, or you can potentially get 2 of the same Turret or Planet or Spectral in a pack. We have also unlocked the blue deck, which gives you a hand every round. This is not actually true. It just gives you a hand at the start, and that's about it. It says every round. They're lying. So we can instead play a different one. Let's try the blue deck, shall we? Now, as much as I'm sure everybody loves the Balatro soundtrack, I grow tired of it. Oh. Oh. Oh, game, are you okay? Yeah, you're okay. It just got upset at me for clicking out. So we are going to instead turn that music volume all the way down to the bottom and bring ourselves a little bit of a playlist, shall we? Alright, where is my capture for playlists? That one's a capture for Firefox specifically. That's desktop audio. I guess I'll use this one. Can't behind me, write it all down, 'cause 'cause I don't want the responsibility of losing its importance. Let's do the inner machinations of my mind are Enigma. That's a fun playlist. My computer's not being very happy with me. I'm using too much CPU. Unfortunate. Well, it's just gonna have to suffer. Which one to start off with though? Let's start with this one, because I was listening to it last night while watching someone stream. Alright, let's see how loud this is. Only go for an hour longer. Yeah, this is head empty music, which is just like music that you think of when you're not really doing much of anything, just idling by. Alright, YouTube, you gotta let me shuffle the playlist. You gotta let me shuffle the playlist. I need you to let me shuffle the playlist, my guy. Increase that volume a little bit. Not too much, but just enough. There we go. Shuffle is in fact on, supposedly. Okay, good. Back to the game. Let's take a look at our collection. We've unlocked so much just by playing this one round. So we have unlocked regular Joker, the Lusty Joker, which was the one that gave us the heart bonus for playing cards with heart soup. So that gave you 3 mult when scored, as you saw. Dusk. We unlocked Ride the Bus, Blue Joker, DNA, Hologram, and I believe that's it. Yep, that's it. The rest of them are all stuff that we haven't seen yet, or they're locked, which requires you to get achievements. This one was the one we just unlocked by getting to Ante 4. This one happens when you reach Ante 8. The next one when you win a run, and win a run in 18 or fewer rounds, and win a run in 12 or fewer rounds. There's a lot of different other unlockables. I have not gotten every single one on my phone, but I've gotten quite a few of them. We've also unlocked some vouchers. The Wasteful and the Grabber. Add a hand and add discard. These also have things that are locked behind special things that you do, such as this one, playing cards versus discarding cards, along with various other different ones. We've unlocked 1 tarot card, the Empress, and we have 22 of those, 12 planet cards, 18 spectral cards. We have quite a few decks, vouchers, and jokers. We have additions, booster packs, tags, blinds. Out of the planet cards, we've only unlocked Saturn so far, which levels up the straight, adds +3 mult and 30 chips. And 1 spectral card, the Sigil, which converts all cards in a hand to a single random suit. The additions, which are special enhancements to jokers, and also playing cards. The negative, and the base, which has no extra effects. Negative just adds a joker slot. Playing cards may have 1 enhancement, addition, and seal each. Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario. We unlocked the standard pack, which is a booster pack. We unlocked the spectral pack, choose one of up to 2 spectral cards. And that's it so far. Unfortunate. Hello. YouTube, calm down. And the tags. A lot of them have been undiscovered. I think with the tags, we're not going to skip everything. Howdy! The ball throwing. The funny ball throwing. These tags give you certain perks. I'm not going to skip every single blind just to get these tags. The tags are the exception to my funny rules. But, the ethereal tag gives you a spectral pack. It's the same as getting a spectral pack. Pretty much, you just don't buy it. And the orbital tag increases your poker hand by a few levels. As well as the blinds. We have the small blind. Score at least 1 times the base. Reward $3. Big blind. Score at least 1.5 times the base. and your reward is $4. The hook, which the rest are all bosses. The hook is a score at least 2 times the base. Your reward is $5. It discards 2 random cards per hand played. The window, same effects and reward, or same score needed, as well as the reward, and all diamond cards are debuffed. And the head, same goal and reward, all heart cards are debuffed. These are also the base totals of chips you need per the ante. And it gets real wacky with it. 8.600 E20 is ante 16, and you can get further than that. You can in fact reach infinity. Multiple people have reached infinity in this game. It's quite insane. The furthest I've gotten is up to ante 11. I don't believe I've beaten. Yeah, I haven't beaten ante 11 yet. I've gotten to it though, but I haven't beaten it. Yeah, if you're just joining in and you're wondering why the music isn't the regular Balatro music, it's because I don't like the regular Balatro music because it's literally just one song, but with slightly different instrumentation each time. It's a fine enough song, but like just hearing it over and over again is not my cup of tea. I prefer to do that with my own music, I think. It's a fine enough song, it's just not really for me. Then we have all of our enhancements here, which we haven't even seen all of them yet. We'll go through them all once we find cards that have those. Let's get back into it. We're now at hand size the next round. I think that's one of the tags I have not gotten yet. In my game on, oh, excuse me, yawning, on my phone, but I don't know for sure. We'll do it. It's funny. We'll do this as well simply because it's funny. Which is the Mega Arcana pack, which lets you choose up to 2 of 5 tarot cards to use immediately. And then the pillar is the boss there. Do that first. Which cards previously played this ante are debuffed. So actually skipping all of the blinds is incredibly helpful here, because that means you can play any card available to you, instead of having some of them debuffed. Let's see, we have Hermit. Doubles your money, which maximum gives you $20 back. So we have $4, so we can get 4 extra dollars, and then, you know, get 8. You have the Fool. This one's a good one. Creates the last tarot or planet card used during this run. The Fool excluded. So you can't copy a Fool, but you can use the Fool to copy any of these cards as well. We have the Devil, which enhances one selected card into a gold card, which is helpful if you want money because the gold cards give you $3 if the card is held in your hand at the end of the round. We also have the Emperor, which creates up to 2 random tarot cards. You must have room in your consumables up in the top right corner in order to make those. And finally, the High Priestess, which creates up to 2 random planet cards, which you also must have room for. Let's get some planet cards going so we can see what we potentially base this run around. Flushes and straights. Alright, let's do that, I guess. This is on shuffle, correct? It is on shuffle. It's just being wacky. Alright, and then we'll use the Fool to create another Jupiter. And we can use that right away. And we can get back to just doing flushes. I've seen a lot of people online. Whoops. Got my earbud out of my ear. Like moving around. I've seen a few different people online who just like to do flushes. Joel from Vine Sauce likes to do that a lot. We don't have a flush right now. Hello. Let me hear the stupid music. Uh-oh. I somehow lost the left ear. How have I lost the left ear? What is happening? You plug it in? There it is. Okay. Give me clubs. Thank you. Alright. Yeah, the main reason why I didn't want to play this game for so long was because I would get really invested in it. That's why I was watching other people play it instead, not buying it myself. Because this is a stupid thing to spend your money on, I feel like. This is why people actually go gambling. Let's go gambling! Alright, this one gives you a multiplier if the hand contains a straight. That's pretty good. This one gives you a tarot card if the hand is played when you have $4 or less in the total dollar amount. I know of the Monument Valley games. They're the ones that have like the optical illusion puzzles going on, right? I love optical illusions. I just haven't played those games specifically, and I haven't seen much of them. Other than one of those real artsy puzzle type of games. They seem neat though. We're gonna get this one. And I'm not gonna get this voucher just yet. The playing cards, this one lets you purchase playing cards directly from the shop instead of just having to use the booster packs. I was going to say booster pass because I'm listening to Mario music. And now we have enough money. Well, I could get this right now. We're going to get these two right now because it'll be a little bit more helpful. Hello. Mario Maker? There it is. This Wonder Buffoon pack lets you choose one of up to 2 Joker cards. So what are our options? Madness, which when a small or big blind is selected, gain times 0.5 times mult and destroy a random Joker. This one is a little crazy. We're gonna hold off on getting it because it's very hard to use it, I feel like, just because, you know, it's gonna keep just randomly destroying Jokers. I also am not a huge fan of the art. It makes me, it's a little bit creepy. But this one gives you 10 plus mult if a played hand contains a flush. So that one works with what we got going on right now. So let's add that one to the pile. So now we have the Crazy Joker and the Droll Joker. Celestial Pack over here gives you an option to choose one of up to 3 player cards to use immediately. What are our options? Well, we can't get the Jupiter because we have already discovered that. So let's choose one of these two, Venus and Uranus. Venus levels up 3 of a kind, plus 2 mult and plus 20 chips. And Uranus levels up the 2 pair with plus 1 mult and plus 20 chips. I use the 2 pair far more often, so we'll unlock that first. Do, 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 do. Ba-da-ba-ska-ba-ba. Handy tag gives you plus hand gives you $1 per every hand that you played this run. I have only played one singular hand. Not particularly useful. So we're going to play this blind instead. Okay. Game's looking to give me some hearts, are ya? Lucky for you. I love me a good hearts. Lucky for you, I'm a dog lover. I keep drinking my red, white, and blue pop. I've been going through that a lot this stream. My throat doesn't hurt too much, but like I've been going through a lot. I haven't drank a lot today, so I need to keep that up. Oh, okay, madness is here. You really want me to like madness, huh? I'm going to instead skip that and get these. Zany Joker, plus 12 mult if played hand contains a 3 of a kind. And then a different standard pack, it's in green this time instead of red. Which is the same as the other standard packs, it's just that you haven't discovered them yet because they're different colors. I guess we're going diamonds, because this one is a mult card. Hard pivot into diamonds. I can't double my money. I have $0. So that is quite unfortunate. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. I'm gonna keep that 8 there for right now. Let's get rid of the spades, actually. Well then. Game. You did give me a straight, which I'm thankful for. But I don't think that's quite enough. Sorry, I am very... Give me a second. My nose is particularly stuffed, and I do not know why. Oy, oy, oy. I'm okay. Hotline Miami music. Fascinating. I like this song, it's nice. It's back again! It keeps coming back! I'm scared! I'm so scared, I'm not going to get it yet. We're going to instead get this one! Reserved parking! Each face card held in hand has 1 in 2 chance to give you $1. By love, joke-ER. I'm trying to figure out what the, like, each of these kind of have like a play on them. I watched the video, like, the first time I really like knew most of anything about like Balatro, looking up stuff, and it was telling me about jokers. And there was like this entire video that was just explaining what different jokers do. I don't remember how they explained this one specifically, like the references and stuff that they put into these. But I guess it's like when you get your car gets towed because, and you have to pay a fine because you weren't supposed to be there because that's reserved parking. I don't know, man. Anyways, the psychic. You must play 5 cards or it will not count. So as you can see here, if I just do this, the hand will not score. I have to play 5 cards. So, we do have a flush of all clubs, which I can play instead. And that's 5 cards, and that gets us through. We've unlocked a joker! It doesn't show you, like, which joker, like the joker's name once you've unlocked it, but you know, we already unlocked that joker, so we don't really need it. The voucher! Oh, this is very helpful. This is a very good voucher. All cards and packs in the shop are 25% off. That means that this will go down to $3 each per booster of regular booster packs. These will go down to, I think, like $1. Oh no, just $2. And then I think this one doesn't go down because it's just $2, so that's not, that can't really be put into a quarter perspective. But the clearance sale has been redeemed. Oh no, it does. It goes down to $1. So yeah, they'll now be a little bit cheaper, and we'll be able to buy more stuff. That'll be fun. Oh. So we've already gotten the Juggle tag, so we don't need to get that again, right? Yes, we've already gotten the Juggle tag, so we don't need to get that again. We've also already gotten the Spectral, the Ethereal tag, so we don't necessarily need to get that again, if we don't like to. Alright, I need my Scrabbler to stop scrabbling. I need you to stop doing that for like 5 seconds. Alright, we have some diamonds and we have some clubs. And it's just that easy, folks. Out of water. Oof. We're almost 100 away. But you know what we do have? A full house. And we have this joker right here to give us a little bit of a helping hand. As well, I think we got $1 from the reserved parking. Look at that. We got another $1. Look at that. we're making the big bucks here. Yeah, the good news is that I do have some cherry Coke to replace the water. It's not particularly hydrating, and it's, yeah, you know, very good in general to have that in comparison to other drinks. But, change that to the funny Coke. Coke, excuse me. Why did my voice do that? Oop. Alright, we have some neat, funny new jokers here. I think letting go of this one will be better. Just because I'm not expecting to get straights. Those are kind of hard to get. I keep dragging them because you have to drag them in the mobile game. So that. If we sell another one though, we can also get the blue standard pack and have that unlocked. I think. Nope. I'm dumb. But this one, earns $1 at the end of a round payout. Payout increases by $2 when boss blind is defeated. So this will go up and up and up and up and up. Each boss blind that you defeat. Getting this early on is fantastic. And you should get it if you want to make sure that you can buy other stuff later. This is Rocket. Pokemon in Rocket. And now this one gives you plus 20 added to your mulch, your little red number over here. But it loses 4 per round played. So in that sense, it's a little bit tricky to keep around for much longer than, you know, 5 games. So this is a very this will be useful for now, not so much later on. And unfortunately, because we don't have enough... Oh wait, no, we've already gotten a Mega Arcana pack, so that's fine. So now we can get the standard pack again, but in blue this time. Now that's cherry flavored Coke. But look what we just found. A glass card. These multiply your multiplier. Multiplying your multiplier makes it even larger, as multiplication is a lot bigger than addition. So these double your multiplier, but they have a 1 in 4 chance, so 25% chance of getting destroyed after you play them. Sometimes they can last you a real long time, sometimes they go away right away. We also have this one. I've explained the purple seal and the malt before, but get a tarot card if you discard it, but it can also add 4 malt when you play it, and this one is just regular. So we're going to get this one, because that's fun. And what is our deck looking like? We're starting to lean a little bit into the clubs and diamonds. What is this? This is Super Princess Peach? This is Super Princess Peach. Alright. I kind of like the spectral packs. All face cards are drawn facing down. That's okay. We have a standard amount of face cards. There's 12 out of, 54 here, so that's fine. And we can keep that popcorn around for this particular boss blind. That'll be good. We won't get a lot of money until after this boss blind is defeated, but I like spectral packs. I like the funny spectral packs. Ooh. Now these are both good. Now the thing about spectral packs is that they often come at a cost. Not all of them, but a lot of them come at a cost when you play them. So this one, Talisman, will add a gold seal to 1 card in your hand, and it gives $3 when the card is played, rather than giving you $3 when the card is in your hand, like just making the card itself gold does. And then Ectoplasm, which adds negative to 1 joker, but decreases your hand size by 1. So instead of drawing 8 cards, we draw 7. I use this one pretty much all the time. But let's use Talisman. That'll be fun instead. Put that on the ace. Get more money. So yeah, the mark is our boss. All face cards are drawn face down. You won't be able to tell which of the face cards are what, so that will be a little bit unhelpful. But look at what we got here. Oh. Now that doesn't score too highly, but it should score just enough for right now to get us through. Oh, we're halfway there. Wait, okay. Get that out of here. How is my 2 pair looking? 40 times 3. Maybe. Okay. We have 1 discard remaining. We have more hearts. And we have a lot of spades. Let's play the 2 pair right now and then see what happens. And get rid of... yeah, get rid of that one. This is nice. I like this song. I don't know. I've apparently from Little Goody Two Shoes. Never played that game. Okay. And the popcorn goes down, but we increase the rocket and we get $3. So we get $3 from having a your hand remaining, and we get $3 from rocket. So now we are flushed with cash. Ooh. Now here's another card thing that we haven't discovered yet. The holographic card, which gives you a plus 10 mult automatically on every hand you play. This one also gives played cards with the diamond suit 3+ mult when scored. So that will be helpful for our flushes. And this one is helpful in general because it gives you 50 mult when you have no discard remaining. And since I only have 3 discards, that's going to be easy enough to get. Let's sell our reserved parking. And we've unlocked the yellow deck. Now we don't have enough to get this one, which seemingly does nothing. It actually unlocks a special secret something or other that I actually haven't seen in game yet. But I've unlocked it, I just haven't seen it in game yet. But we still have these packs that we haven't also discovered, and with Rocket, we will be able to get this the next time around. This one's the Celestial pack. You choose 1 up to 3 planet cards to be used immediately. Let's take a look at that snout. Boy, you think I'm getting a straight flush? I'm not. God dang Neptune. And Pluto, which technically isn't a planet. Well, it's a dwarf planet, but it's like not a planet. People keep trying to figure out what Pluto is. They keep saying things about what Pluto is. I don't know what it is, so... God, this is such Mario music. And I don't think it is Mario music. Yeah, it's Pokemon music. It sounds like such Mario music. And stop the extension. If the extension is slowing everything down, stop the extension for right now. Alright. We'll get this one because I'm not getting a straight flush, dude. But this increases the high card, which is the thing you use when you have nothing else, pretty much. Unless you happen to get a pair, then you use that instead. But increases by 1 mult and 10 chips. Add that to the pile. And finally a regular standard pack. So we need to get some diamond cards. That's what we need. We already passed on track to that, but we have another ace up our sleeves. The Ace of Diamonds. This one's a lucky card. It's all crinkled and kind of ripped apart because that's... like, your lucky card is one that you keep around for a long time. It's been, like, hardened and worn down. With love. With love, folks. This gives you 11 chips. A 1 in 5 chance to give you 11 chips. Or a 1 in... no, wait. It gives you 11 chips because it's the Ace. It's a 1 in 5 chance to get the 20 plus mult. So it means it's 20%. And then a 1 in 15 chance to win $20 for free. I don't know what that is in percentages. These are both really good. I'm going to play instead though because I need Rocket. Because I want to redeem that voucher. Sometimes I just, sometimes I miss Mario Party 2. I can play Mario Party 2 anytime I want. Sometimes I miss it though. Alright. I should have probably gotten rid of some of my discard just to get that going. That's okay, we'll be fine. That would be a deadly number out in Eastern Asian countries. Alright, let's get that down so we can actually activate Mystic Summit. Oh, it's the funny song. I joked and then I got a straight flush. Alright, sure. Wait, is that actually gooder? Better? 65 times 8, that's... 6 times 8 is 48. That's plus 4. 52, 520. Yeah, that's better right now. How big is this number gonna be? Oh boy. Alright. I got the 10K achievement unlocked, and I unlocked another Joker. The dice. $9. Not enough. Oh, it is enough because I got the redeemable. I can unlock this now. I can't buy anything else though. It might be time to sell popcorn or droll, cause this automatically gives me 10 no matter what. So let's buy this, which is the blank voucher. It seemingly does nothing, but in actuality, if you look at our vouchers, clearance sale, where is it? Blank. If you redeem blank a total of 10 times, you unlock a special voucher. Unfortunately, I still haven't seen that voucher yet, so but yeah, let's see. Droll sells for 1, and then popcorn sells for 2. So we can either buy this one, which all face cards become gold cards when scored, and they'll give you $3 if they're held at the end of the round, instead of the gold seal, which gives you $3 when you play it. And this one you just earn $4 at the end of the round. Guaranteed. We also still have this particular Celestial Pack that we have not discovered yet. So we can grab that instead if we desire. I think that's probably a good investment, because we can still get a little bit of use out of popcorn. This is per round, not per hand, like I was thinking it was. Per hand is a different card I'm thinking of. Ooh! Ooh! This is a funny song, I like this song. Oh, right now my straight flush does even more than flush right now, so like that's... Why should... I don't... But I got a straight flush. I'm proving the game right. This one, Mars, is leveled up 4 of a kind, plus 3 mult, and plus 30 chips. We'll do that. Even though that's really highly unlikely to get. Though that one is now at 900, so if we get a 4 of a kind, it's gonna be big. Now this I want. So we're skipping that. And going straight to the wheel. 1 in 7 cards get drawn face down. This is 1 in 7, so now we have a face down card. Let's sort by suit. Now, I believe that hearts are in between spades and clubs. So it could either be a spade, a club, a heart, or... Oh wait, no. It's there, so it's either a spade or a heart. So it's not a club. We sort them by rank. Let's do this first. Ooh. Oh, this is Pikmin music. I was like, what is this? Pikmin. Then stop it! Get some help. It's slowing down my thing again. We are just seemingly not getting any diamonds, and that's highly concerning. So we're going to get rid of all of these to see if we get a diamond. I hate you, and I want you to go jump off a cliff right now. I'm gonna be honest. This really sucks. Like, look, I don't... Okay, it's not that big in comparison. It's only 2 more than what's standard. Alright, I won't be that harsh on you, but we are just doing a pair. Just to get this out of the way. Still a good number, just not good enough. Hello! Thank you. Finally got our diamonds, good lord. Sort by suit. That is a heart or a spade. This probably isn't a 3 of a kind. Let's do the 2 pair and throw in that mystery card. Yeah, let's throw in that mystery card. It was a 4 hearts. Dang, I could have used that instead. That would have been nice to have and use. But that's okay, we got through it. And the rocket upgraded. And we're doing great. What is this? Oh, this is Earthbound. I know. I know it's slowing down. Everything is free! So this one, you have 1 in 2 chance to create a tarot card when any booster pack is opened. So this is incredibly helpful. This is the hallucination. This will help us out for a little bit. And this one gives you a card slot available in the shop. That's also good. We have overstock redeemed. Now we have some more. No! Banana's here! We'll do the packs first, and then we'll go for banana. Now, banana is very important. I cannot stress enough how important banana can be. I haven't actually been able to really use it much, but... No, from the description it doesn't seem like it's very good. It's 15 mult, which is good, but it's a 1 in 6 chance that the card gets destroyed at the end of a round. That is the bad part about it. But it's actually the good part about it because once it gets destroyed, you can get an even better banana that I think gives you a ×4 mult or something like that. Something that's crazy. But for me, my luck is terrible and it just refuses to destroy the banana for me. We're gonna do this one because it gives me money. And this one, specifically the blue seal, creates a planet card for the final play poker hand around if held in hand. So that one doesn't help if we only hold it in our hands. And so we have more clubs. I don't want to hold that in my hand. And the red seal can re-trigger the card. So it'll play the 6 and then play the 6 again. So all good, we're not really using it right now. Let's take a look at the buffoon pack because we need to unlock that. But also just to see what we got. This one's also pretty good for getting money. How's our popcorn looking? It's still got a use in it. It's still got more use in it, man, before we can sell it. But yeah, this gives you a 5 for every blank discarded card, depending on the rank, which changes every round. And this one adds the number of times poker hand has been played this run to mult, which can be helpful depending on how many times you played it. Specifically, I played the flush 6 times, so that could be useful. But we're going to skip the pack, which is a thing you can in fact do. and not pick anything at all. And instead, we're going to sell this, get this, sell this. We're making money, and get the banana. Here is Gros Michel, also known as Gros Michael. And Michael's gonna be real helpful later on if he actually works with me here. Now this Buffoon tag gives you a free Mega Buffoon pack. Gives a free Mega Standard pack. We're going to just go for the blinds and play them normally. Oh, this is Dual Destinies. I forgot this is Dual Destiny music. I always forget this is Dual Destinies music. Oi, 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 okay. Three of a kind. Hello? There you are. Game. Come on, man. And we are one away from a straight again. I hate high card it is then. Cause you're just not getting me diamonds. Kinda need diamonds here, game. Oh my god. Alright, we're playing everything except for diamonds. Game, please. Game, please. Yeah, I'm gonna need more diamonds going on here. And I might actually need to get that standard pack then. Oi, oi, oi. Nope. There you go, there's the flush. Alright. Okay, that's still a flush. It's not the one that gives me the most amount of points, but it's still a flush. Now let's see if I get lucky here. Michael? Michael! We're on anti-5, Michael! We can't keep you forever, Michael. I yell a lot at Michael because it just does not leave. It just never leaves. But we are going to sell popcorn now, because for what it's worth, it will end up expiring soon, so. Or we'll get through the popcorn. It's like you're eating it is what it is. Now we have a bunch of cool new jokers here. This one gives 10 plus 10 mult if played hand contains a 2 pair, which is useful since I play 2 pairs so often. This one gains 15 chips if played hand contains a straight. And that's like, it's not continuous or anything, you just gain more chips whenever you get a straight, which can be useful in the long run, potentially. But we also have this one, which adds a plus 3 mult for each joker card you have. And if you have a lot of negative jokers, that increases even further. So while it does say plus 12 now, it will now say plus 15, because there's 5 jokers. Now let's get for these jumbo packs here. The jumbo standard pack. Choose one of 5 playing cards. How's our deck looking? Yeah, we need more diamonds. Yeah, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that queen there, bud. And it's a bonus card, which gives us 30 extra chips. What is? Sorry? Sorry, what? I'm listening to the song. What is happening? And then we have the Jumbo Celestial Pack, which gives us one of 5 planets to choose from. Black hole is here! We do have a full house here as well. Earth, which is the full house, gives you +2 mult and +25 chips. But black hole is not actually a planet card. That is a is a spectral card, and you can see that it even like in the art it is like getting sucked into the black hole. That's really, really cool and neat. I find it very, very fun. And I wasn't expecting it to get so early in this game. Goodness me. But the fun thing about that, as you can see, is that it upgrades every single poker hand by 1 level. Which means every single poker hand you use just got slightly better. But I think that just generally can show up in, whatchamacallit, the packs. Now we can re-roll here, but I do get something if I don't re-roll per run. And if you re-roll it, it just changes up what's in the shop at the moment. If you don't like your options and you have enough money, you can re-roll and look at some different cards. Yeah, we should probably skip this because I'm gonna need some more playing cards. Why did you give me spades, though? But why did you give me spades? Anywho, this is the stone card. It gives you 50 chips when you add it in your playing hand. But however, it does not have a rank or a suit, so it does not count towards any of the hand itself. Like, it doesn't count towards a flush or a straight or any of the hands. It just adds extra chips. Just a little extra money going into your bank account. Let's get this 2 of hearts as well because it's got the multiplier on it. Alright, so the funny thing about the serpent, after any play or discard, you will always draw 3 cards. So one way to get around this is to discard 1, get 3. Discard 1, get 3. Discard 1, get 3. And then you got yourself a full hand of 14 cards. Which means even if we're playing this entire hand, we're still gonna get back more than what we started with. So you got a lot of options there, and that's that's very helpful. I swear to God I can speak. Now this won't get us the little bonus for having our greedy joker here with the diamonds, but that's okay. It's still a flush, and it's still at level 4, which is very, very good. Alright, we have a lot of clubs left. We have some diamonds left. Let's play... 2 pair? And we are gonna start getting less cards than we started with now. I think. This will still add 10, 15, 15, and 15, which is still good. It's just not quite as good. So we just need 1 more hand to win. That's all. Could I do it with just this? Probably. Yeah, probably. It's not great. But, like, if it doesn't work out, then add another card into it to kind of flush it out. A pair. A diamond, queens. That good enough? Yeah, that's more than enough. Alright. Michael! Get out of here! You gotta go home, man! It's closing time. We might actually make it to Ante 8. If we do manage to get to Ante 8, then I will stop after that. We won't go into what is called endless mode, which is just you keep going until you can no longer go. Or you reach infinity, whichever comes first. You do have some funny new jokers in the pot. Let's unlock this voucher, which re-rolls the boss blind. 1 time per ante, and it's $10 per roll. So if you have $10 to spare, you can redeem the director's cut and get yourself the blind re-rolled. The plant, which is coming up, is all face cards are debuffed, so that could potentially be helpful. If we take a look at our deck, we have 14 face cards. So that's, you know, that might go a long way eventually. As it stands, let's do the packs first, because I don't know which Joker to pick up. Because Rocket's really helping, as this Greedy Joker. And Abstract Joker. We're back on the Pikmin Bloom music. Jumbo Arcana pack, which gives us, lets us choose one of up to 5 tarot cards to be used immediately. Let's get some diamonds. God bless America. Alright, Empress is back. We also have Emperor, which I explained before, which creates 2 tarot cards. We have the Lovers, which enhances 1 card into a wild card, and a wild card can be used with any suit. It's like how you have wild cards in Uno, and you can change the color into any color. That's how that works. The Sun converts up to 3 cards into hearts. And the High Priestess, as we've seen before, creates up to 2 random planet cards. So let's do... Emperor is probably better, but we're gonna do Wild Card. And put that on our... Well, actually, we can't put that on our king. Though we could... With Rocket, we'll probably get an... Let me see. Where are the blinds? Free Mega Spoon pack. Initial cards in the booster ship pack. Shot for free. Okay. We play the small blind. We skip the big blind. And we... What's it called? We re-roll the boss. Okay, so then we put it on the king anyways. That's my plan. I'm sticking to it. So now that king, it looks like it's bleeding. It's whatever suit you want it to be. And 1 of up to 3 planet cards be used immediately. How many planet cards do you actually have unlocked? Not even half. Because I took that black hole. Shoot. We unlocked the green deck. Another deck has been unlocked. I am once again not going to upgrade the straight flush because we barely get it. We can also unlock Venus or Mercury, which levels up the pair by 1 plus 1 malt and 15 chips, which is useful because sometimes I get stuck trying to use pairs. When they're not particularly helpful. Alright, now we gotta figure out which one to go. I think I'm just gonna have to get rid of Abstract Joker. Because Mystic Summit, I'm going to be discarding. That will just be happening. Probably. And while Abstract Joker isn't... Well, no, Mystic Summit is very consequential. Abstract Joker isn't. Because you're pretty much always going to have 5 Jokers in your hand anyways. So, we'll just get 1. We'll just get 1. We'll do this one. Which, played cards with an even number rank give a +4 mult when they're scored. This is Even Steven. He's very helpful. And now let's play! Getting rid of these guys. You know what? Just that right now. Alright, we're getting rid of these guys. Okay. Game. What are you doing to me here? I suppose we're going full house. This won't really get me anything too much. Hello, Mario? Mario, are you there? It's me. God. Please send a sign. Okay. Really? Really? The first time I play it, really? Yeah, man. Alright. Jesus. Alright, now we gotta start playing some weird hands. We'll do a pair, I suppose. Since that happens to be here. But we're trying to get more diamonds to show up, because they're not showing for whatever reason. That works. Flush is fine. Flush with club is fine. Do, 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 do. Okay. 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 We do have a flush, or we do have a straight. Straight is 900. I forgot. Straight is 900 compared to flush is 800. Which actually makes this better. If it were a straight flush, that would be even better, but we don't have that kind of time or patience for that. Although, just in case. Da-da. Roseburg Law Offices. Do 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 do. Can you believe that it went extinct? Michael finally left. Thank you, Rocket. Oh, helpful. We sell this, and we get a free double tag. And with our funny... Well, no, actually, that's not very helpful. Because the next one just gives the initial booster packs and cards being free. Okay. Played face cards, in comparison to reserve parking, this one, played face cards give a 1 in 2 chance to give $2 when scored. Instead of it being that you have 1 in 2 chance of getting $1 scored if they're in your hand, held in your hand. We've already unlocked these celestial packs, so I guess that's all we have here. We're gonna do something a little bit funky. Here. Well, I probably shouldn't buy and sell this due to the fact that it, you know, will create a double tag, and I don't really need one for this upcoming blind. We're gonna buy this Diet Cola and sell it. We're going to buy this card, the business card, and sell it. And then we're going to buy this card, the Supernova. And that will give me 11 molt when I do flushes. Gotcha. Reroll. Why are you back? Why are you back? What? I guess we're finally getting Neptune. Good lord. It's probably better if I get Mystic Summon again instead of having Supernova. It would be really funny if I bought this again and sold it again, but I'm not going to do that. We've gotten everything that we can discover right here. So, let's get on out of here. And skip. We didn't really need to do that, but that's okay. We can now reroll the boss. We have $2, it's fine! The Ox, which takes the... I'm assuming it takes the one that you're most playing, and because it changes depending on the run. I've seen people play. Playing a plush sets the money to $0. We have $2, it's fine. We'll be fine. Besides, Rocket only counts after the boss has been defeated. So it doesn't matter anyways. You fool. You thought you'd seen through my trap, but really it was your own undoing that did this. There's also a helpful boss if you somehow manage to get into the negatives. Because it will make your negatives... Actually, hang on. Now this will unfortunately, well no, because this is a straight, so never mind then. I was going to say that unfortunately makes it worse, but no, this is a straight. It won't set my money to 0. But I haven't been discarding, so we're not adding that multiplier in there as well. We gotta start discarding some stuff. Sort by suit. We still have a lot of diamonds to go through. So let's discard. A discard. And a discard. Oh dear me. That is quite unfortunate. How many do we have left? Equal amount hearts and diamonds, pretty much. Let's do the 8. Yeah, let's do the 8. That's fine. Hello? There it is. Alright, we got 2 more hands. Oh, this is very bad for me. Oh, Jim Bob, this is real bad. I'd like to keep that 2 in there, for just in case purposes. We might not make it. Oh, gamers, I think we're not making it. Yeah. That sucks. Probably should have sold Rocket. I actually did manage to get through my my second run when I played this originally, so. Oh well. Time for us to shuffle off and try again. Let's take a look at what we've unlocked, and then we're gonna head out after this. To beat a boss blind in one hand without using any discards, you get this one, who earns you $8 if played hand triggers the boss blind ability. Haven't actually used this one yet. Don't really care to. You also got the yellow deck. You start with 10 extra dollars as well in one hand, or at least 10,000 chips. You get this one, which doubles all listed probabilities from 1 in 3 to 2 in 3, and so on and so forth. Green deck has been unlocked as well. At the end of the round, you get $2 per your remaining hand and $1 per remaining discard. You earn no interest. Fortunate. Hey, let's take a look at our collection. Got a lot of jokers. Unlocked these ones, Crazy, Droll, as well as the greedy one. Unlocked Mystic Summit, which is somewhat similar to Dusk, actually. Abstract, Gromisha, Even Steven, Business Card. Rocket, Hallucination. Is it just this one, or is the other one in here? Come on. YouTube load. We got popcorn, Diet Cola. And we unlocked some jokers over there as well. Oh, what'd I miss? Where'd I miss something? Hello? Oh, reserve parking. We got that as well. Vouchers. We unlocked Overstock. As well as Director's Cut. Got some new tarot cards. Lovers. The Fool. The High Priestess. Planets. Lots of planets. Very much so like the planets. We're still missing 5 of them though. We had a couple new spectral cards, including Black Hole. Nope, it's just this one I think that's in the playlist and not built to scale 2. We have holographic cards unlocked for jokers. Got some new booster packs, Arcanas, a lot of the Celestial packs, a lot of the standard packs, we're just missing one of them. A couple of the Buffoon packs as well. Got some new tags, double, the coupon tag, the standard tag, and as well the blinds. Unlock the wheel, the psychic, the serpent, the pillar, and the mark. We still haven't reached Ante 8, but if I do come back to this game anytime in the nearby future, which I probably will, hopefully we can get to Ante 8 then. We'll see! But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Alright, get this music out of here. 50 Mega Mart. I've never played Sun or Moon. I never played Generation 7 of Pokemon. But yeah, so next week, I'm starting back up work again, which I will be working all 5 days a week for 4 hours at a time, but because I don't have my license, I have to stay, around in town, on campus where I work, for the whole day, so I don't know when I'll next be streaming. Maybe Monday, we'll see. But it's gonna be the end of my funny grind. Just stream a whole lot. Break here, but it's been fun. Now I gotta run. Anywho, yeah, I don't know when I'm next streaming. I might stream Style Sappy again though next time. Anywho, yeah, that's gonna be it today. I think that's everything. Okay. Bye.